Good morning and welcome to the Worship Cafe. My name is Olan and I'll be your host for a few minutes. I just want to say a big shout out to everyone who's listened on the podcast, everyone who's given us feedback, who's given us a stare. I really appreciate your following. This morning, I just want to speak on the theme, why? It's just 3 letters, W-H-Y, why? The scenario I came across a while ago was the scenario in a psychology class. It was Introduction to Psychology, and it was the first lesson, and the lecturer came into the hall and said, he just handed out test papers to everyone and said, you've got 1 hour to answer these questions, your time starts now. And the only question in there was this 3-letter word, why? With a question mark over it, and says, write all you can. And they had, as much access to paper and 1 hour set before them on the clock. And all the students went to work and people began to write all kinds of things. Oh, why? Well, why did the chicken cross the street? Or why? Well, because. And I'm sure that the Africans in there would have said things like, oh, because now, and written all kinds of things, joining all kinds of topics together. But well, after an hour, the lecturer walks in, collects all the papers, and then returns the score. And everyone in the class failed it. And he was thinking, what is going on here? And when it was only one student he gave feedback on that got the answer right. And apparently he wrote the shortest response to this lecturer's open question. He asked why, and this student replied, why not? And that was enough. Why not? He followed up that question with a question. So I'm asking why. A lot of times in life, when life asks questions of us, we seem to want to run along very quickly and form an opinion and run along that tangent without stopping to question why. So why? And so wait, hold on, why not? What are you actually about? What are you trying to get at? And I think that was what earned him the maximum points on that question. It seems a bit abstract, it's psychology, but if we apply that to our everyday lives, situations ask us why. So many times we're trying to commit to doing something. We're trying to find out about ourselves. What am I here for? Why am I here? Where am I heading? What am I about? And that is a why question. And until we answer the why, it's going to be difficult for us to perhaps achieve our full potential. So many times in life, we run off on a tangent because we think we know. We assume we know what's in the mind of the person that's posed the question to us without actually taking time to understand where this person is coming from, or what the situation actually really is. Some situations can appear the same, but if we confront them with a closed mind, saying that we already know what the outcome is going to be, then we will miss out on the opportunity to experience a different outcome. I meet with colleagues all the time who don't share the same worldview as I, who have had different backgrounds and different upbringings to mine. And I sometimes marvel at the wealth of information that I can mine from our conversations. We don't have the same upbringing, but it's interesting to see their worldview and how they've arrived at it, and whether you're a creative person or you're a musician or worship leader, whatever it is that we do as creative people, there will always be a need to answer a why question. Why do you write that song the way you write it? What are you trying to say? Who are you aiming this at? Why are you making that painting? Why are you sculpting that? Why are you taking the time to encourage somebody? Why do you give feedback to your fans? Why do you try to engage with them? Why are you trying to take over the world? Until we answer the why question, I think it will be a very difficult struggle to articulate first who we are, and then also to achieve our fullest potential. That in this life, we are in a race, not against the other person, but against our former self. So I used to be lazy. Now I'm taking control of my life and I'm having better control over my time, the way I spend it. So I want to get things done today as opposed to that will get done when it gets done. I want to get stuff done urgently as opposed to, well, do I really have to? Or just getting away with the bare minimum. So yeah, this is the why question. I think for the most part, passionate people have answered the why question. Passionate people, you will find, know the reason. They've understood the reason why they do what they do, and they stick with it. And it's important to understand it. I'm just going to go over that because, excuse me, on some days it's really difficult to want to be aspirational when you wake up and it seems like the world is already all over you. You woke up on top of the world. You went to bed on top of the world. Now you woke up and the world feels like it's on top of you. Yeah, and those days, having an understanding of the why, having answered the why question makes it easy for you to get up and say, look, it's not as bad as it seems. I understand why I'm ticking. I understand what I'm here for. I understand that I am making a difference. It's part of the reason why I started this podcast anyway, because I discovered that there's so many dissenting voices in the world, so many voices saying to people, you can't, you can't, you can't. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You can't do this. And I said, well, I'd rather be one of those voices, one of those fewer voices that are saying, yes, you can. And yes, you will in good time. And yes, you will struggle, but you can. And I'm just trying to be real with it because that's just me. You can identify that, this is a guy who doesn't appear to have it all together, who is in the same struggle as I, but who's trying to make a difference, one feeble step after another. And that is one of the reasons why I'm doing this. So find your why, find the reason why you're taking and answer it. It's in the answering that the solutions to your issues and to the issues of the lives that you've been called to inspire lie. Okay, so get up this morning and try to answer the why question. Sometimes you will get knockbacks, but it's okay. We're all on a journey. This has been my rant this morning. This is the Worship Cafe. Have a wonderful week. I'll speak to you soon. God bless. Bye-bye.